Before it can fight, an army must eat. From the battlefield to the banquet hall, how do you feed over 100,000 troops? Tonight on Combat Chefs, the heat is on for army chefs in Afghanistan.
The Taliban have captured one of the police forces checkpoint. Be interesting.
If we've got a fight, we'll have to use the chefs. Combat chefs.
Frontline troops get a rare feast.
Ready for you guys?
Yum, yum.
I think these are coloured enough.
And at an army cooking competition,
What's those then?
lunch goes up in smoke.
Is that guinea fowl jerky or something, is it?
Defence Food Services Training School, Aldershot. For the 2,200 Royal Logistic Corps combat chefs, this is where it all begins. First, they are moulded into soldiers, and then into chefs.
Mix it together.
Gas, gas, gas!
But it's their ability to cook up a hearty meal on anything, anywhere, in any conditions that sets these chefs apart.
Steve! Colin Scouts, cookies can't start to burn!
Roll up your sleeves. Oh. Roll up your sleeves. Roll up your sleeves. Yes, got one of theirs.
Out in the field, new recruits are taught to cook using nothing more than old dustbins, mud, and open fires.
The guys need to be able to produce food, whatever the weather, whatever the situation.
Known as improvised cookery, it's a skill unique to the British Army.
This actually was used in the Falklands conflict. This is the sort of thing they would do. It's very effective. There's quite a lot to take in because they've just learned to be basic chefs in a proper kitchen. We're asking them to be a basic chef in the woods. If we don't take them outside their comfort zone, the first time they do that for real on operations, be it in Afghanistan, Iraq, we'll be very, very uncomfortable.
Gütersloh, Germany. Every year, combat chefs assemble at Armoured Division HQ to take the art of improvised cookery to ever higher levels.
You need to get your maids up as well.
20 teams compete in a grueling culinary competition, interspersed with field exercises. Not since 1944 has there been so much action by British forces on German soil.
How many are you cooking for?
20, sir.
How deep do you think you need to be for 20?
Probably about knee-high, sir.
Knee-high.
Judging the improvised competition is Major Harry Lomas, head of catering for the Army's most prestigious culinary division, London District.
You're putting the paper on the top. You need the paper underneath the wood, don't you? I'll tell you what, you're lucky there. You've got a good lad there, haven't you, eh?
Oh,
sharp as a razor. Right.
Dangerous is his nickname, sir.
Is that what your nickname is, Dangerous? The scenario is they're en route to a location and their wagon has gone off the road, they've lost their cooking equipment, so we're now into an improvised scenario. So it's a bit like Scrap Heap Challenge versus, Master Chef.
Each team must produce a 3-course meal to feed 20 troops from a box of surprise gourmet ingredients including chorizo sausage, fresh salmon and guinea fowl.
What are you going to do with the guinea fowl?
Turn it into a pie, sir.
A guinea fowl pie?
Game pie, sir.
Game pie?
But before there's any cooking, the chefs have to build their kitchens. Ingenuity is the order of the day.
Pre-burn pit there, done.
Sergeant J. Kingsbury of 3-5 Engineers has a unique design. An improvised oven with a separate fire pit to produce charcoal.
Yeah. We're going to pre-burn the wood in a pit there when it appears, and then the hot coals are going to come down underneath the oven, and then it burns hotter and quicker.
The rules are clear. Only materials that could be found lying around may be used.
Squaddies being squaddies, they're going to try and pull the wool over the judge's eyes because that's what it's about. I remember in my younger days, I used to try and cheat wherever I can to make sure that we got the best. It was all about esprit de corps. I needed to win.
With 35 years of army catering under his belt, you can't hide anything from Harry.
The idea, the wood, all the makings of the fire need to be all improvised. I hope it doesn't use charcoal, because that's not improvised. Is that charcoal I see on there?
The wood burnt out.
You're bullshitting me, aren't you?
There's no bluffing you, sir, is there? It's charcoal now.
Yes, I'm pretty good on charcoal. Is that improvised?
Well, I'd say it's improvised, sir.
Okay, good. You do whatever. I'll mark accordingly. All right? Right, what's this, what have we got here then? Just give us a bit of a run through here.
Oh, see, I've got my water boiler there, sir.
When you the word obviously,
Well, that's my water boiler, sir.
well, is that not off OFCS?
It says I could use sea items, sir, on the list.
No. What have you got in there? I think we need to get in here to discuss that. Look.
Sir.
Sergeant Trask has literally thrown parts of his army-issue field kitchen onto an open fire.
You can't be using that. That is not improvised. And what is that sticking up in the middle?
That's my flue, sir.
Correct. From where?
That's also a sea item off the cook sets. That's what it says in the rules, sir.
Does it?
Yes, sir.
Can you just show me the rules that it says you can use sea items?
Of interest. He's going to kick the shit out of me. He's always hated me.
I'll tell you what, I may have to close you down.
Oh, don't do that, sir.
Well, show me where this is then.
You may utilise equipment from your CES.
I think it's slightly unfair. The idea is we're looking to see what they can do in a bin or a barrel. Each team will have to provide their own improvised field catering equipment and fuel.
The way I read it was that my wagon
fine.
fell
No,
over and
not
I
a
had my
problem.
wagon there.
No,
But-
that's
all
fine.
right, sir.
I can see that your thought process, but just to make sure that we abide with the rules as we go along. Okay?
Harry's word is final, and Sergeant Trask's improvised oven takes a direct hit.
He's allowed me to use the two bins out there because I didn't bring anything else, and we're just going to crack on, improvise, adapt, and overcome. He's hated me for 17 years.
Coming up,
Mate, ready?
it's a call to arms as combat chefs in Afghanistan face the threat of a suicide bomber.
We've been briefed up, fire warning shots above them, and if they carry on, just open fire.
I think these are coloured enough.
And in Germany,
What's those then?
an improvised lunch leaves a bad taste in the mouth.
It is actually inedible. The chances are they're going to lynch the chefs when they get hold of them.
Afghanistan, the front line for the British Army today. Three company of the 1st Battalion Coldstream Guards have been stationed at Forward Operating Base Keenan in Helmand Province for the last 5 months.
This is an area that is known as the Green Zone, the infamous Green Zone. It was an area that was heavily occupied by the Taliban up until about sort of 4 to 5 months ago. And what we've done over the last sort of couple of months is push those Taliban out of that area. And we here at Keenan now, our main aim is to bring normality to this area.
Their task is to help the locals rebuild their community and to defend them from the Taliban.
Especially now the heat's come back, a lot of the local nationals are moving about at night. That means that the Taliban will also probably try to move around at night so they can blend in with the local nationals. It makes it much harder for us to find them. We've got a mortar platoon here, which is also from the Coldstream Guards. So what we tend to do is we put up lights sometimes at night just to let the Taliban know that we are watching them.
It's hungry work, and most soldiers on the front line have to fend for themselves. The troops survive mainly on ration packs delivered by helicopter. And the dish of the day is boiled in the bag.
You must have been told everyone's already fed up with beans, because breakfast it's sausage and beans, burger and beans, or you get corned beef hash, and a lot of lads don't like corned beef hash.
To vary the diet, the lads have learnt to improvise.
Just use normal bread mix, roll it out flat, and then you put some rations in the middle and just fold it over by capacity, really.
Mothers won't recognise their sons when they come back because none of the boys could really cook when they got out here.
You deep fat fry them about a minute and a half. It's just until they're golden brown, really. They love them.
It all helps just to spice up the diet, which, okay, you know, rations are fine, but it does get a bit dull after a little bit of time.
Luckily, help is at hand. Staff Sergeant Simon Hewitt is the battalion's master chef.
Come on then, let's get this pizza up.
He runs a team of 11 chefs feeding 300 troops a day at nearby Forward Operating Base Price. With its own post office, laundrette, and local shop, the more luxurious Fob Price is almost a home from home.
Everybody calls this Fob nice. It's like a little village, so when people come in, they get looked after.
There's a Sunday carvery, fresh fruit, and even a monthly surf and turf barbecue.
The food's been excellent, actually. It's without doubt one of the better cookhouses in theatre.
This is the best food in Afghanistan. The guys put a lot of time and effort into the food that goes onto that hot plate.
We get plenty of fresh veg and a wide range of frozen meats, so we can do whatever we want, really. They're just Alaskan giant crab claws. All I've got in there is just salt, water, loads of parsley and loads of lemon. 12 minutes, they come out ready. And I'll just brush some either garlic butter or chilli and garlic butter over the top of them. That's how them done.
Here, the chefs like to have a little bit more personal touch. You still want the food to look good. You've still got personal pride in what you're actually serving.
We do our best, because you never know, the lads, well, it might be the last meal.
Once a month, Master Chef Hewitt leaves the comfort of Fob Price and travels up to the remote Fob Keenan. His vital mission, to raise the morale of the less privileged troops in his battalion with some home-cooked grub.
Because of my battalion, I kind of got it cleared. We would go up there, give the guys some fresh meals, and it's a breath of fresh air for them.
He's become a bit of a personality at Fob Keenan, and clearly when they see the Master Chef, it is a boost in morale.
It's good to see him. I've never seen anybody not whinge about queuing up for food before.
But getting to Fob Keenan will be no picnic.
The convoys will move from this location and they will always take a different route as and where they can. It can take anything from an hour to 3 hours depending on the kind of terrain they're covering and dependent, of course, on if they encounter any trouble between this location and Fob Keenan. It can be extremely risky.
Staff Sergeant Simon Hewitt will take 2 of his chefs with him. Lance Sergeant Mark Tremaine and 18-year-old Private Tracy Montgomery.
This is my first operational tour, obviously Afghanistan, right in the centre of in the Helmand Province.
Tracy is one of 2 female chefs in the brigade. Her speciality is pink custard and fairy sponge cake.
Excuse me. Some nice sponge and custard? I hear I'm not a female, I'm just one of the lads. The minute I step off camp, I'm a big little girl, really. Just love getting my hair done, makeup, going out with the girls, shopping.
But there's nothing girly about being a soldier chef in operations. Tracy will be swapping her chef's apron for her body armour as she prepares to travel with the convoy into the notorious Green Zone.
I've never been in a convoy. It's going to be a scary experience, but it's something that you have to do.
In Germany, the British Army's annual improvised cookery competition is heating up.
That oven wants to be hot. 10 minutes ago, yeah?
It's a nice barrel you got there.
The secret to success is all in the design of the oven, as head judge Major Harry Lomas knows only too well.
Setting up the improvised equipment, it's key that you draw the smoke away out of the flue. We don't want it doused in smoke that it's inedible.
One chef's oven has caught Harry's eye.
The basic equipment they've used is an old filing cabinet, which I thought was quite an ingenious bit of kit. Whether it's going to work or not, I don't know. I don't know how hard it's going to get in there. Yeah, I think these are coloured enough. What's those then? Yeah, that's nice. Is that guinea fowl jerky or something, is it? That's lovely and hot in there. Unfortunately, the smoke's not getting out, is it? Something's going to come out of here, is it? Right. No rush, I'm pensionable. There we go, that's that. Right, let's get this on camera.
Out of the fire rises the cremated remains of a pineapple tart tatin that leaves Harry in silent mourning. Sergeant J. Kingsbury of 3-5 Engineers is determined not to see his chance of winning go up in smoke. He's constructed a state-of-the-art improvised oven complete with a pre-burn pit. He's aiming to impress the judges with a gastropub feast.
What is that?
This one here, so that's our starter. It's a prawn and chorizo parcel of pastry. I'm going to serve that with wild mushroom and spinach risotto.
Good, all right, nice, excellent.
And underneath there, the lamb loin stuffed with black pudding.
Good.
We'll cut that down into noisettes. And then I've got my guinea fowl oven simmering away nicely.
What's he doing, warming his backside or what?
This is our pre-burn pit.
And whose idea was this then?
Well, it's a mixture of knowledge. This has been going on for a while now.
Well, it's been going on since the Crimean War, has it?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, no, you weren't about in the Crimea, I was there. You were there, weren't you? I like their menu. They've got a good oven, got a good fire. They're not too bad, I think, 3-5 Engineers.
With service fast approaching,
Not then.
the competition is coming to the boil.
What you find with chefs, soldiers might flap now and again, thinking we're not going to get there, but at the end of the day, we always do.
The first dish for Harry's inspection is the guinea fowl cooked in the filing cabinet oven, resuscitated as a wild mushroom risotto.
The trouble is, there's no skill at all. What a waste of bloody guinea fowl.
The oven's not been burnt out, so all you're now getting is that metal.
Yeah. I mean, it's unedible.
Yeah. It is, actually, inedible. The boys, when they come along from that, they're not going to eat it, and chances are they're going to lynch the chefs when they get hold of them. It's very much part of the morale of the soldiers, and they want to get in there and get something that's going to flick their switch and make them go forward.
It's time to see whether Sergeant J. Kingsbury of 3-5 Engineers fares any better.
I don't mark it.
Will his prawn and chorizo parcels tickle Harry's taste buds?
It does look a bit more exciting, doesn't it?
A little bit more effort's gone into presentation, at least, hasn't it? You know.
That is nice. It is.
That's nice.
I quite like that.
So far, so good.
And what have we got?
Roast lamb loin stuffed with black pudding, and then the sauce is a thickened pork and cranberry jus.
Do you know what? I didn't know black pudding and lamb
went together as well as it does.
Would I want to bring my troops along here and go and eat this food? And pretty much 3-5 got a tick in the box.
As the judging continues, the other Army chefs step up to the plate. And Harry's invited a special guest judge.
Puff pastry and pineapple is a winner.
TV chef Simon Rimmer.
The flavour.
Yeah. The whole issue of being able to cook fantastic food in a bin, basically, or over a coal pit, then I wouldn't even know where to start. There was some lovely cooking of lamb with black pudding stuffing in the middle. And the same team also did a quite stunning orange bread and butter pudding.
That is very good.
Is this the dogs? Is this the dogs going?
Oh, absolutely.
That is, yeah.
That's got some serious flavours in.
And the texture as well. Some really good stuff.
It's all part of training, this. Yeah, there's a competition element of it. They all want to win. But for some of these people, it's the first time they've ever done anything like this. And this is really what makes the difference between normal chefs and soldier chefs.
In Afghanistan, Staff Sergeant Simon Hewitt is about to put his improvised cookery skills into action.
This is my cot vest. It's basically got all my kit for obviously deploying in. Magazine, cleaning kit, first field dressing, morphine, cat tourniquet.
Armed with pots and pans, he and 2 of his chefs are heading to the front line to cook fresh food for soldiers at a remote base. The convoy will pass through the town of Gereshk, where a suicide bomber struck a week earlier, resulting in the death of 3 Allied soldiers.
Gereshk is a busy town, especially during the day. You wouldn't want to be travelling through it, as I said, during daylight hours. It would be very unpredictable.
The scheduled convoy will be commanded by a Danish battalion. Latest intelligence has identified a vehicle-borne suicide bomber in the Gereshk area, thought to be targeting the convoy.
Okay, so basically, white Toyota pickup moving from Kandahar towards Lascar, coming through Gereshk, suicide bomber.
There's a heightened state of alert. For 18-year-old Private Tracy Montgomery,
Are you ready?
her first convoy trip could be a baptism of fire.
The threat level pretty high. We've been briefed up, obviously to keep vehicles away. We do top cover, fire warning shots above them. If they carry on, just open fire.
The vehicles get underway, but within minutes, the Army chefs are stopped in their tracks.
Basically, when we've come over the berm, we've hit a load of barbed wire, razor wire, and it's got wrapped around the tracks. So basically, they've had to stop, detangle it, cut it out.
The Helmand province is no place for an unscheduled roadside stop. Troops stand guard as the driver untangles the razor wire from the tank track.
We can drive. We can drive, yeah. The commander's just said they're okay to drive.
After a tense 10-minute wait, the convoy moves on towards Gereshk. Private Tracy Montgomery and Staff Sergeant Hewitt provide top cover from a hatch in their armoured patrol vehicle. Their job is to watch out for suspicious vehicles approaching the convoy. Local traffic crowds the road. Any vehicle could be a potential threat. Fortunately, they pass through the town safely.
Well, we've just come through Gereshk, fast and furious. We're just heading into the desert now, so if there is any Taliban or anything out there, it's going to be harder for them to get us out here. At least out here, we're keeping them guessing.
After 2 hours on the road, the chefs arrive at Fob Keenan.
It was a good experience at the end of the day. I spoke to Private Montgomery, she said she was shitting herself.
Headache.
But now we're here, it's good, we're here for a couple of days. Get the job done, feed the guys, see some friends. So yeah, good.
Coming up, A technical hitch for Sergeant J. Kingsbury.
The oven's jammed. That's not a good sign.
If your equipment fails, you've got to find a way around it.
And the frontline troops get a rare treat.
Ready for you guys?
Yum, yum.
Fob Keenan, Helmand Province. This is the frontline base of 3 Company 1st Battalion Coldstream Guards who have been reliant on rations for the past month.
There's only about 10 different menus, so it gets a bit boring after a while.
Having made the treacherous journey here, Master Chef Simon Hewitt is preparing to feed his troops some much-needed home cooking.
It comes in with enough food to cook for sort of 72 hours. So that's 3 sort of evening meals, and it's usually steak and chips or chicken and something. It's quite a serious treat.
The meal will be launched from an improvised cooker made from old mortar boxes.
Anything that needs frying, you can fry on it. Anything you can boil on it. You can also use it as an oven. It does work. You'll be quite surprised. It does actually work. And the good thing about improvised, you just use whatever kit you can get hold of.
In 39 degrees centigrade,
It's hot.
it's thirsty work.
Ice cold beer would be better.
We need a good flow of air. Basically, it draws the air in, so when we build the fire, it keeps the fire going.
A cement called a pug is made from mud and water to seal the oven.
Just picking some water on top of that. It's an insulator, so it'll keep all the heat in.
A seal prevents smoke leaking into the oven and tainting the food. With a whole company to feed, they'll need plenty of fuel. To cater for the big numbers, the one concession to modern kit is a gas burner salvaged from a field kitchen.
Yeah, it's a remote burner from a number 4 cook set.
Rookie Private Tracy Montgomery isn't confident the improvised setup will be able to deliver the goods.
I did wonder how the hell you're supposed to feed 150 people off 2 little bits of equipment. You know, you do feel like you're under a bit of pressure.
In Germany, it's phase 2 of the Army Chef's cookery competition. The chefs have just 3 hours to cook a gourmet 3-course meal.
I'll do some beef ravioli and I'll do some steak and black pudding pies.
This time, the only ingredients available are tinned and dried foods found in a standard 10-man ration pack.
This element of the competition reflects the way we're working in Afghanistan in particular at the moment at the forward bases. What will impress me is somebody that's thought outside the box, quite literally, looking at a tin of luncheon meat and be able to create a dish that people would find interesting. So you'll see things like raviolis and stuff like that.
The chefs will cook their meals using standard Army-issue operational field catering systems. Sergeant J. Kingsbury of 3-5 Engineers intends to impress the judges with a Lebanese-themed menu.
I think it's important in the field, instead of just putting the bog standard stuff out, it's important to have theme nights and stuff, and I'm kind of going down that way tonight. I was recently posted in Cyprus, and one of my favourite restaurants on the island was a place called Habibi Restaurant in Larnaca, and I knew the owner quite well, and we used to go down and have some brilliant mezes there, and it was just fantastic. So I thought, if you love something, I'll go that way.
As well as the lamb koftas, his team are preparing spicy beef parcels.
Because we get minced beef in gravy in a tin, you can imagine it's quite wet. You need to wash the gravy off it. You use a few breadcrumbs, an egg to bind it, and spices, and then it's moulding it. It's a little bit fiddly.
Being creative with tinned veg, instant mash, and instant custard
is the mixed fruit creme brulees.
Is key to keeping troops at frontline locations happy and well fed. The chefs have just 45 minutes until they present their dishes to the judges. Sergeant J. Kingsbury of 3-5 Engineers is on the home straight.
These are mixed fruit charlottes, these.
All that's left is for the dishes to go in the oven. But there's a spanner in the works.
The oven's jammed. That's not a good sign. Sorry, sir. Is there any admin stuff about my oven's jammed? I can't get it open.
Any what?
Any admin stuff about my oven's jammed? I can't get it open.
It's a rapid call to arms. As the chefs apply some muscle to the stuck oven door.
How much time do you need in the oven?
A good 40 minutes. A good 40 minutes. We really need to get stuff in it.
What we can't do is take the oven off and replace it with a new one because it's going to take a good hour or so to get to the right temperature. They're now on about half an hour before service, and really that's just going to waste a lot of time for him, really.
There's only one thing for it. To break open the oven door.
Done a bodge job. Hopefully we haven't lost too much time. But
that's something you have to do. If your equipment fails, you've got to find a way around it.
Went over there, I shot you all about it. I tell you what, it's not doing too bad, boys.
During operations, Army chefs have limited time to get the troops fed and back out on the ground.
Don't forget you've got that risotto as well.
The competition rules mean they have to deliver on time. Jay's team has it all to do.
it's the mad rush. The mad rush at the end.
And there's some stiff competition.
Yeah, I like that. It's really good.
You see some of the guys have really gone and done. I mean, that looks really nice there. Puts mine to shame. Flash.
Sergeant J. Kingsbury delivers the goods in the nick of time.
Okay, chef. If you'd like to give the judges a quick brief on your menu, please.
Right. Okay. We've got Lebanese kebabs. I made them from the minced beef that you get in tins with gravy in. Washed them all down, mixed them together, obviously egg and breadcrumbs, and then some spices. And then we've got mixed fruit charlottes at the end with a fruity custard.
You got really good flavours out of that combo, so you and your team really, really well done. Okay.
You did absolutely outstanding. Well done. And make sure you thank your team, please, because they've done an absolutely outstanding job.
I made up. They all give a lot of praise. And at the end of the day, that's the people you want to praise off. The consumers. I mean, obviously today it's the judges, but it's always nice to get the praise in the field, isn't it? When the guys are eating it, you know you're doing a good job.
The Army are proud about their chefs, the fact that they are soldiers as well as chefs. Those guys can puff out their chests and be proud as punch.
Some of the skills that you've been able to practice or hone are desperately relevant.
the joining together of composite rations and making use of the outside catering kits, that is all really relevant to what's being delivered today on operations.
This year's winner of Exercise Rhino Caterer 2008, 3-5
A rations menu of Lebanese dishes and a gastropub feast cooked in an oil drum has won Jay and his team first prize. It's a proud moment.
Well done, big lad. You didn't realise you won, didn't you?
I didn't. Good lad. He's worked hard and he definitely deserved it overall. So the passionate reaction that he did give was very justified. So I don't think anyone's going to knock him for it. Although he didn't probably need to cry, so that was probably a bit over the top. But yeah, he did good.
Stop crying. Don't get emotional.
I'm tired. Great team. They were so good for me. And I'm just couldn't ask for any more, could I really?
The guy who's won it, he'll remember this pretty much for the rest of his army career, and to win this is pretty much a notch up, and normally they do well on the promotion board in the next coming year.
Winning first prize at a cooking competition in Germany is one thing. But the reality for combat chefs is feeding frontline troops in Afghanistan's Helmand province. Master Chef Simon Hewitt is cooking a chicken dinner for a company of troops using a cooker made from mortar boxes.
It's nice, obviously, they've been out on the ground, they've been out patrolling a couple of hours to get back and have food cooked for them. It's a nice treat at the end of the day.
Today, he's stepping back from the action to allow his protégé chefs a chance to hone their skills.
Use the stick, mate. Break it down a little bit, spread it out.
Lance Sergeant Mark Tremaine is on fire duty.
Still loads in the back, not bad.
And Private Tracy Montgomery is sealing off the chicken.
Fill that tray up. Come on, get some more chicken in there.
As a master chef who served troops in Iraq and the Balkans conflict, he knows only too well the value of improvised cookery.
And you can't turn around and say they're never ever going to do it. So did it in Kosovo in '99, and we're doing it now in 2008. It's just not very tactical. They all get taught it. You got taught it, didn't you, in training? A little bit.
Nothing like this.
Normally it's just like cooking for, 10 people.
It's not 10 they are feeding, but a company of 160 troops. And on the menu is a classic meat and 2 veg. As a special treat, they've brought cheesecakes and gatto with them.
Because we are using improvised, we'll cut the chicken off a little bit longer than we probably normally would if we were back at camp or working in a kitchen, just to make sure it's fully cooked when it goes through the oven. If you look at that one there, it's nearly raw.
Any undercooked food out here could be almost as dangerous to a company of troops as a Taliban strike. Out on the ground, the troops here carry out arduous daily foot patrols in the surrounding area. It's part of the grassroots mission to win local hearts and minds.
We're actually in the village of what we call Zimbalay, which is home to the tribe of the Barakzai, which at the moment are very pro-ISAF and quite happy to see us. Salam. There was a lot of concern when we first get here that we were going to move on. Obviously, they would then build up a rapport with us, we would then move on, and then the Taliban would come back and then kill all those that sided with us.
Having driven the Taliban out, the troops need to keep watch for any signs of them coming back.
During the winter, all the leaves are off the trees and it was really sparse, so it was hard for the Taliban to move around. When the vegetation starts coming back and it becomes a lot thicker, they can get around the area quite a bit better. Could start expecting a bit more enemy activity.
It's a hard-won peace. During the patrol, they come across a teenage boy who claims to have had a run-in with the Taliban.
What's wrong with him?
He was beaten.
Yeah?
An army medic examines his bruises.
He definitely has been beaten.
Oh yeah, definitely stick. Judging by the way he's been moving his hands, he's got
damage to any bones or ligaments. How long ago was he beaten?
Yesterday.
How did he know they were Taliban?
He said that while they were beating him, they told them that not to go twice a base and not get any help from them.
The troops offer the boy further medical assistance and make a report of the incident.
He claimed that about 24 hours ago he was stopped by two unknown males, dish-dashed up with their faces covered and beaten. And why he was beaten, he was saying that they're the Taliban, stop going to ISAF for help. But the fact that we've gone down and spoke to him, and medics looked at his bruise, and it shows that we care a lot more than the Taliban that's just running around beating people.
After a couple of hours out on patrol, the troops would normally return to camp and have to feed themselves. But today, there's a treat waiting for them.
There's a saying, they'll always want something of us, you know what I mean?
Master Chef Hewitt's Sunday dinner is ready to serve.
We've still got some chicken in the oven, we've got another tray to go in, and we've got some fresh veg in on the go as well.
A meal from the battalion's Master Chef is not to be missed.
Ready for you guys? Go, mate. Help yourself to gravy.
It's nice to get some fresh rations and some veg. Veg is what I miss the most. And chocolate cake, some pudding is always a good thing.
Yum, yum. It is good to have it, you know, cooked for you now and just relax and eat it.
Everyone likes good food, so what happens is when you have communal scoff, so to speak, everyone just eats together, which is always a great thing. And now with the weather getting so hot like it is, people burn off so many calories. So the better food we can get, the better it is.
Obviously everyone's just stuck with eating boil in the bag, so it does make a big difference and makes everyone happy.
We're just going to do the meals for the bridgehead.
For the troops keeping guard at the sentry points outside the camp, there's even a special takeaway service. It's down to the quick reaction force to deploy some meals on wheels.
Anything that's not in the ration pack should be good.
Master Chef Hewitt's meal has been just the tonic for the troops.
Having a master chef down here once a month for a sort of 72-hour period to cook some fresh scoff is fantastic, and it does provide quite a serious element to the moral fibre that we have within the company.
No, I am strong.
It's good that the guys have been fed chicken, potatoes, veg, gravy and a dessert. It's well balanced at the end of the day. They're my guys, so it's good to look after them.
Coming up, there's trouble ahead as the chefs head back to base.
The Taliban are saying that they've captured a police checkpoint.
Seeing that we're travelling through some of them today, could be interesting.
If we've got a fight, we'll have to use the chefs. Combat chefs.
Helmand Province, Afghanistan. Having fed the troops, Master Chef Hewitt's stay at Fob Keenan is over. Now it's time for him and his chefs to make the risky convoy move back to his main base at Fob Price. And it's down to his boys, the Coldstream Guards, to get him there.
OK then, a quick update on our enemy forces.
Current threat, the IED threat is graded as severe, small arms and RPG threat rising as the greenery gets thicker. We also have a separate threat message, which is for a suicide bomber moving from Melmand in Kandahar province up into Gereshk. He's got a short ginger beard and short ginger hair.
Any questions on that? See you then, guys.
The threat level has gone up. There's been a couple of hits on Danish convoys over the last couple of days. For me, it's part and parcel. You've done your training. If anything happens, you just react.
Do this shit.
Having spent 3 days slaving over a hot stove, Staff Sergeant Hewitt is now manning a machine gun on top cover.
Okay, Samantha, we'll keep the pace nice and steady down there once we're across the way.
Up-to-the-minute communication intelligence is how the troops on the ground keep one step ahead of the enemy.
One call sign to another has said they have captured a police checkpoint in around Gereshk area, and they're going to pretend to be police. And the commander said, yes, that's good.
Roger, so the Taliban are saying that they've captured a police checkpoint, and they're going to pretend to be police. Yes, sir.
The convoy will have to pass through a number of checkpoints manned by the Afghan National Police, or ANP, as they are known.
Samantha, what we'll do then, we'll stand off on that checkpoint. It'll also give us a chance to stand off and have a look at that ANP checkpoint.
Allegedly, ICOM chatter, which have intercepted. Taliban have captured one of the Afghan National Police Force's checkpoints in the Gereshk area. Seeing that we're travelling through some of them today, could be interesting.
If we've got a fight, we'll have to use the chefs. Combat chefs.
With no sign of any Taliban imposters at the first checkpoint,
Okay, so hang on, let's go.
they carry on and pass safely through. As night falls, the troops stop in the desert outside Gereshk. Moving forward under the cover of darkness is safer for the convoy.
We're just on the outskirts at the minute. Just gonna wait about 10 minutes till it's fully dark, and then we're moving, going through Gereshk.
In the distance, headlights approach the convoy.
I've got a couple of vehicles to our front, well, to my front anyway. Say what you're
Flares are fired in the direction of the vehicle to warn them off. And to shed some light on the proceedings.
See him, sir? Yeah, I can see him, sir.
The driver ignores the obvious warning signs.
Hey, Mr. Green, he's moving, sir.
Where? He's moving towards us. Just keep eyes on him, Seb. See if he goes around.
The troops move forward to make their presence known.
Yeah, I'll send him in now. Yes, sir.
Front vehicle.
Basically, they're going up on the right, interpreter +1, and then the second guy's going up to give cover.
He's wanting to move up, go about the way he's come through. Yeah, Roger.
Eventually, the driver gets the message and takes another route.
Happy days.
Finally, they get an update on the suspected Taliban ambush at the ANP checkpoint.
So yeah, they've just been onto Gereshk Ops. No dramas with any of the checkpoints that we still got to pass through.
With the all clear, the convoy heads to Gereshk.
Now comes the fun part. Entering Gereshk. Ideally.
Just keep moving, Science, keep moving.
After 3 hours on the road, the convoy and the chefs safely arrive at their destination.
Safely at Price, mate. Let the holiday begin.
The Master Chef's monthly mission to feed the frontline troops is complete.
We're back in it. A bit twitchy coming through Gereshk. A lot of people are out today. I'm chatting to the guy on top. He's well happy when we go down there, get a decent meal, time to chill out as well, instead of cooking his own meal. Gets looked after.
Next time on Combat Chefs, in London, Major Harry Lomas is organising a VIP canapé night.
Don't like that. What's this shit?
But will his troops deliver the goods?
We need to lift the canapes, you know what I mean, about 200% before I can put those out on Wednesday.
And at one of the Army's poshest dinner nights, there's some unexpected help in the kitchen.
Just got to work out who the important people are so I can give them a few extra slices, do you know what I mean?